Good morning to most of you, good afternoon to some of you, and still others, good evening. I hope that all of you guys had a very well-rested break. I hope everyone's staying healthy. Kind of a spring break that none of us expected to have, but nonetheless, I hope you had time to relax and unwind and not think about school and spend some time with your family. We're kind of entering a time that no one has ever been through before in education and schooling. So there's going to be a lot of information sent at you this week and the next couple of weeks, and it might feel overwhelming. Don't worry, you're not alone. It feels overwhelming for teachers and administrators and students everywhere across the whole world and across the whole United States as well. So don't feel overwhelmed. We're going to get through this together. We're going to figure some things out. We are going to have some bumps and some things that we're going to have to change and roll with the punches, but we will work through it and get through it together. We need to make sure that we're communicating throughout this whole process and making sure that everyone knows your issues, knows what kind of things you need to be successful with school, but also to make sure that you're doing okay with all the things going around in the United States and the world at this time. But again, welcome back, and we'll get started here. Okay, the remote learning plan. Remote learning is just the same thing as e-learning. It's a little bit different name, but it's essentially the same thing. All the stuff that you're going to be getting through email, and you're going to be doing your attendance the same way as you've done the weeks previous to spring break. But we're going to have a little bit different setup with our classroom, and we'll go through that here on the next slide. As many of you are already aware, we are switching over to Google Classroom for U.S. History and for AP U.S. History. I've been sending out the emails the last couple of weeks, encouraging you guys to sign in, and a lot of you have done so thank you. We are going to have all of our homework distributed and turned into Google Classroom. This slide shows you each period and each of the codes that you're going to need to use in the Google Classroom. I know many of you use it for other classes already. We're going to use that to distribute it. All of your assignments. You will still get an email every morning of e-learning, of the remote learning, and it will tell you to go to Google Classroom and look at today's assignment. There's going to be a little bit different schedule than we had before, which I'll show you here in just a second. But every morning you'll get sent the email like you were before. It'll tell you to complete the attendance check and to log into Google Classroom for that day's assignment. All right, as you know already, Monday, April 6th through the 10th, which is this week, there is no e-learning for students. Teachers are using this time to try and get on Google Classroom or other platforms to try and get you your work and figure out how to collect it, and then also putting together lesson plans for each of their classes. So teachers will be doing that. You guys do not have anything this week, so it's kind of an extension of spring break. However, what you guys can do in these during this week, you should submit your packet from the 2 weeks prior to spring break, which was the paragraph framing if you are a U.S. History class, paragraph framing for chapters 25 and 26. And if you're an AP class, you should have done the quizzes and the Albert questions. Then your regular remote learning will begin Monday, April 13th, and it will go until April 30th at this point. If we have to go further on, we'll discuss that later on, but as of right now, we're closed until April 30th, so our first day back to school would be May 1st, unless something is extended. Here is kind of the layout for the rest of the year, or all the way up until May 1st and possibly the rest of the year. Quarter 3 is officially over, so we're not going to be putting any more assignments into quarter 3. With your e-learning packet that was done 2 weeks prior to spring break, that is going to go into quarter 3, but it's going to go into quarter 3 as extra credit. So I will find assignments that you didn't do, and I will plug in the points that you have earned for that 2-week period, the paragraph framing for the U.S. History and the Albert questions, and we'll start to plug that in kind of as extra credit, and that will help boost your quarter 3 grade. In addition, from this week all the way until the end of the quarter 4 and the semester 2, quarter 3 is going to remain open for anyone who has missing work. This means that you could boost your quarter 3 grade higher up to make sure that you are going to pass for the semester. Some of you guys didn't have a very great quarter 3, and maybe you need to make up some assignments. That's up to the teacher though. So you have to make sure you're communicating with the teacher. That's up to you to communicate with the teacher and figure out if you could make up an assignment, email them, use through Remind, whatever it is, to make sure that you are asking them if you could make up an assignment. Again, that's up to them. But you can do that all the way up until the end of the semester so you can make up some things. And that can help you pass semester 2. You can do that, but you also need to make sure that you're staying current on your remote learning assignments that are being given out for the next few weeks. You still need to get a passing grade for quarter 4 in order to pass the semester, but you can make up some of the old stuff. All the work that is going to be sent out starting next week is going to be graded and put in the grade book under quarter 4. Your completed assignments are going to help your grade as usual, just like a regular semester or quarter. Anything that's incomplete is going to be put in the computer into Tyler as an INC or incomplete. Now, it's going to look like your grade isn't as low if you have a bunch of incompletes, but what's going to happen is the last day of the of school, which is going to be May 29th, they're going to convert those, or the teachers are going to convert those, all those incompletes to a 0. So it might look like you have a B, but if you've only done two assignments and you have 10 incompletes, when they flip that over to the 0, you're gonna fail. So you need to make sure that you are staying on top of this work because it is graded, it is going into quarter 4, it is going to determine if you're going to pass or fail. You have to get a passing grade with the quarter 4. Final exams are canceled as of now, so there's no way at the end to maybe get a good grade on the final and boost your grade. So you have to make sure you get a passing grade for quarter 4. This is the INCs, the incompletes, are going to be turned to 0s for seniors by May 13th and for sophomores and juniors by May 29th. So you need to make sure that you're aware of those dates and taking care of the business so you can graduate or make sure you're not taking any summer school or credit recovery classes later on. This is the new remote learning schedule, and this is a little bit different than what we used prior to spring break. So instead of you getting an email from each of your teachers every single day, you're only going to get an email from your teachers twice a week. So if you're a first, second, third, or fourth period class, that's a day or a schedule A. You will get information about homework and e-learning, remote learning from your first through fourth period teachers on Monday and Wednesday. And then for B days, is Tuesday and Thursday, you will get information for your 5th through 7th period classes. So you're not going to get overwhelmed with work every single day. You are going to use that schedule. If you look at the bottom there, you're going to have Friday is a day to kind of finish all those assignments or check in. Teachers are still going to be available, so if you need to make sure that you have questions, you're sending those emails and those reminds to get that kind of stuff clarified. But there's not going to be any assignments sent on Friday. It's our intention not to overwhelm you with a ton of work, but the work that you are given is essential, as we said in the previous slide, to make sure that your grades are getting up for quarter 4, so you have a passing grade for quarter 4. So make sure that you are completing those. As I said before, I'm not going to try and overwhelm you with a bunch of work, but that work that we're going to give you is going to be vital to complete when it is given. This is a great opportunity for you to get a very good grade, especially with quarter 3 being open. So communicate those things with your teachers and make sure that you're making up the things that you can make up at their discretion. As I said again, semester 2 finals have been canceled, so your whole quarter 4 grade and a lot of your semester grade is going to be weighing on this remote learning stuff. So you need to make sure you're taking it seriously and completing the work when it's given to you. Anything that's not completed will be incomplete. You will have 1 week from the day that is assigned to complete the assignment, and then if you don't complete it, then it's going to be the incomplete, and then those incompletes will be 0s on that last day. So it could be the bomb getting dropped on a lot of people if they have a bunch of incompletes on that last day and they convert them all to 0s. It's going to you're thinking you're in good standing, but it's not going to be the case if you aren't doing this work. AP students, your work is going to be a little bit different because we are preparing for the test, which we will have a Zoom very shortly to discuss the changes that they're going to have for that AP test. Communication is huge in our situation that we have right now. We don't see each other face to face. We can't see each other every day, and we're not answering those questions that you might be able to answer in a face-to-face class setting. So communication, communication, communication. I have email, the Remind, if you have not signed up already, the Remind is in there. That's for parents and students if you wish. And then also when you get on the Classroom, Google Classroom, there's a message board where you can post questions and I can get back to you there. In addition, I'd like to set up a schedule to talk with everyone for Zooms if you're available, to address any questions and just to check up on you guys, make sure everything's good. For U.S. History, we will do Tuesdays at noon, and for AP, we will do Thursdays at noon. And that way, if you have any questions about the assignments or anything that's going on in the class, or you just want to check in, we have that time that we can see each other a little bit through Zoom. And I will send those invites in the morning on Tuesdays for U.S. History, on Thursdays for AP, with the link that you can join those. The most important thing with this time here, we want to make sure that you know that we are here to support you guys as students. This is probably the craziest time that we'll ever live through. Hopefully it's the craziest time we'll ever live through. Something like no one throughout U.S. history has ever really done with learning and remote learning. There's been pandemics and epidemics before, but nothing to this extent with e-learning and technology and stuff. So luckily we have that stuff. Otherwise we'd be making up lots of school days. So don't get overwhelmed and don't sweat things. We're here to support you. We're here to address any kind of your schoolwork questions. We're here to address any of your fears, anxieties, uncertainties about this stuff. All of us have those same kind of feelings. We don't really know when we're going back to school or if we're going back to school. We don't know how late into the summer these lockdowns and everything are going to be in place. So you have to worry about yourself, worry about your well-being, and make sure that you have everything that you need to be safe and healthy, number one. And we can address all those things. So if you need something, please reach out. Please communicate with those avenues that we gave you, the email, the Google Classroom, or the Remind. We're here for you. Teachers are supposed to be there online from 9 to 1. We answer emails all the way up until 3:15, and I'm telling you, 99% of the teachers are going to answer emails within reason almost all night. Most of us have it on the phone, and it's very simple to type a quick little message, or at least give you a little guidance until the morning or whatever it is. So please reach out, and we will get through this together. I look forward to seeing you guys on Zoom. Tuesday for the AP kids and Thursday for U.S. history. Again, I will send those links out. And if you need anything, please reach out and let us know.